During December 2023, HoneyKomb Brazy was seemingly staying close to his home turf, with his December 1st music video for the song 6 O'Clock showing Brazy and his partners hanging out in his childhood community of Happy Hill, followed by his December the 8th music video with Birdman for the song Dis Dat, showing the two hanging out in the Sideways Sports Bar and Grill in West Mobile, and then his December the 14th music video together with another Mobile rapper BCUG, which showed them in a Mobile-based recording studio located next to Brazy's Happy Hill neighborhood. Unfortunately, this would be the last music video to be released with Brazy as a free man, because only 4 days later on December the 18th, while Brazy's car was driving north of Mobile on Interstate 65 whilst passing the General W.K. Wilson Jr. Bridge, better known as the Dolly Parton Bridge, the car would be stopped by Mobile County Sheriff Office Special Operations Unit and FBI officers belonging to a so-called Safe Streets Task Force, which is a joint operation between state and federal officials that specializes in investigating violent crimes and arresting violent offenders. And in court documents, one participating FBI officer detailed the reasons for the vehicle being stopped. There was a particular focus on Brazy's vehicle that he was traveling in at the time, which would turn out to be a bulletproof white Cadillac Escalade SUV, which the feds claimed was traveling too close to the vehicle in front of it, as well as suggesting that it was traveling in the left lane for a period of longer than 1.5 miles without passing another vehicle. And the cops would also claim that the car had too dark tinting on the rear windows and was not displaying the proper registration for the state of Texas where the car was registered. This initial criminal complaint, which is dated 3 days after the arrest, also includes long descriptions about the FBI agent's expertise when it comes to investigating drug traffickers, which is seemingly included in the report to not only establish probable cause on their arrest, but also support the decision of the officers to perform the traffic stop on Brazy's vehicle in the first place. Once the car was stopped, the officers would first talk with the driver of the vehicle, who would turn out to be a man named Mason Fuller, who was seemingly acting as a security guard for Brazy at this time, as he was wearing a body armor vest labeled with text saying enforcement. Fuller, who seemingly goes by the name Bishop and runs a professional bodyguarding business, can be seen on Brazy's manager's Instagram together with Brazy all the way back in November when he first got out of jail. And according to the FBI officer, due to Fuller wearing body armor, he was asked whether there were weapons in the car, to which Fuller would state that there were indeed at least 2 weapons. One standard looking 9mm pistol that was found under the driver's seat, while another one, a Smith & Wesson MP15 pistol that looks more like a rifle, will be located under the third row seat, which was allegedly within the immediate reach of both Brazy and a third occupant of the car, a man named Miguel Hall from Houston, Texas. The officers would also suggest that there was a strong smell of marijuana emanating from the car, and inside they would find a half-smoked blunt, along with a liquid medicine bottle, also within the immediate reach of Brazy, with the prescription partly ripped off. And one of the FBI officers actually claimed that he was able to make out the words promethazine, which he claimed he knew is often mixed with codeine. Then later in the same document, that same bottle is described as actually containing both promethazine and codeine. Now the officers would discover that all 3 occupants of the vehicle were individuals who had been prohibited from possessing firearms due to their previous convictions. The driver Fuller, who was wearing the body armor, apparently had a temporary protective order against him that he had received a few months before the traffic stop in Georgia due to a domestic violence case he had outstanding. And Brazy and the third man Hall were indeed convicted felons who weren't supposed to possess firearms. And so all 3 of the individuals were arrested at the scene, eventually being indicted on federal gun charges. And as soon as HoneyKomb Brazy was arrested, it didn't take long for his top op, Finesse 2 Times, to jump on social media and share his opinions, posting a picture of himself on Instagram laying on the ground like a dead body, surrounded by money like it was crime scene chalk, along with a caption boasting how he doesn't even need a gun to kill his enemies, together with a hashtag saying the art of war. Now, it appears to be a bit of a strange insinuation, and it kind of makes it look like Finesse 2 Times had something to do with the arrest. Perhaps Finesse 2 Times actually confessed 3 times. But he would also taunt HoneyKomb Brazy, saying F your favorite rapper, as well as highlighting his rap-a-lot or mob ties connections, dissing his haters from Mobile, as well as saying that he was going back to being the old Finesse, but he didn't specify if that meant he would go back to snitching on his co-defendants too. After all, he did mention that he was driving around with cheese, as well as screaming into the camera how it was up with anyone now.
Your favorite rapper? How about that? Hey nah, all decide though, all decide, hey, bro got a bun, man, what's bro bun, bro? Hey, if he ain't got no bun, bro, hey, I'ma send my lawyer your way, bro. I want you to touch back down, bro, so we can have some fun. Hey, look, don't start calling my phone now. Long as I was quiet, trying to be humble about and trying to be mature about nah, they kept trolling, nah, they kept, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm on it. That's what it is. Like, no, don't recognize real, then I'm back on some like, don't start calling my phone now. Don't call my phone on, I ain't no net, I ain't nah. Long as I was trying to be quiet, trying to be cool about it, I leave it, nah, it's over with. Yeah, it's dead. Yeah. Talking about, however you feel, that's what it is. From now on, any feel feel like Finesse 2 times said this, oh, any mad about me, any owe me some money, yeah, it's up. You talking about this dick. From now on, from this day forward, that's what's going on, man. And if I see you, ain't gonna be no friendly, it ain't gonna be no friendly conversation. I'ma smack blood one. I'm gonna start smacking the fountain. I'm gonna go back to the old Finesse. Yeah, I'm gonna start smacking Mobile, Alabama. You talking about? Cause I know that's all on here. Ain't none but haters on here. Ain't none but Mobile, Alabama haters on here. Stay out my shit. Sucking ass. You talking about? Yeah, man. And I'm riding around with this cheese on me. And I've got security in the front of the back of me. And I'm moving proper. Yeah, I might make my little young knock you out for $1,000. All type of shit. Yeah.
Now, it's easy to be tough with your ops when they've been locked up, isn't it? And many commenters on YouTube would point this same thing out too, suggesting that Finesse 2 times wasn't acting so tough 2 weeks ago when Brazy was out in the streets. And now that Brazy is locked up, suddenly he's got a whole bunch to say. Finesse 2 times' insinuation was that he had finessed Brazy into this situation, something that would strike a chord with Brazy himself. And on the 7th of January 2024, Brazy would make several posts from behind the wall to his Instagram page, claiming to have paperwork on his arrest that proved Finesse 2 times indeed filed a complaint against him. Brazy would also claim that this was being done to make sure that he is back inside prison, so he is out the way, and that 2 times apparently couldn't take the pressure that Brazy was applying to him in the streets, and even suggesting that he has more respect for 6ix9ine than Finesse 2 times. Brazy would also mention once again the love that he had previously shown to Finesse 2 times back when he was incarcerated, and suggesting that now 2 times had crossed him out. Brazy would then cap things off by stating that you can never trust a man with a BBL. Now, Brazy had plenty of reasons to be upset for this latest setback, because contrary to what many people seem to assume based on his prior problems with the law, this time around it appears that Brazy was at least trying to move smart. As far as he was concerned, he had hired a private security team to watch over him at all times, which can even be seen in one of the only interviews that Brazy had done after coming home during this period, where his head of security, Fuller himself, can be seen leading the group surrounding Brazy, along with several other security guards. But unfortunately, what Brazy allegedly didn't know was that Fuller and Hall, who allegedly worked as his security, had been barred from carrying guns, something someone from Brazy's team would post on his Instagram after the arrest. Moreover, as the person close to Brazy would write, after the arrest, both Fuller and Hall would plead not guilty, even though one of the guns was registered to Fuller while the other one was registered to the mother of Hall's child. It seemed that the handling of Brazy's security had turned out to be a complete mess, but he might not have known about this. So apparently, the hiring of the security team was handled by Brazy's manager, an individual who goes by the painfully ironic nickname No Luck. And on his Instagram account, the manager showcases his security services that he offers his clients, including a picture of seemingly that same white Escalade that Brazy and the other 2 men were caught up in. No Luck may have even been the one responsible for linking Brazy with Birdman to collaborate and potentially sign a record deal, but No Luck would also be associated with other people in the music industry that Brazy has a much more contentious relationship with, namely the Prince family and their Rap-A-Lot/Mob Ties labels. In older posts, he can even be seen flaunting the company's chains, as well as having many pictures with the family and people associated with those labels throughout the years. Now, it's likely that Brazy, in fact, first got in contact with No Luck through Rap-A-Lot when he was still cool with the label, as their relationship seems to go all the way back to at least December 2020, right when Brazy first got out and linked up with Rap-A-Lot. However, at least until a few years ago, No Luck was also seemingly managing Brazy's biggest current op, Finesse 2 times, and Finesse is still saved in his Instagram highlights under the title Artists. Nevertheless, later on, Brazy would later retract his comments about 2 times setting him up, saying that he had now seen the full paperwork and he wasn't going to lie about anybody being a snitch, even if it's his ops. A comment to which 2 times would respond to, saying, how could anyone believe anything Brazy says? However, it would turn out that Finesse 2 times genuinely didn't have anything to do with the arrest, and recent news reports would reveal that Brazy was actually being actively monitored by law enforcement during this time, and it would turn out that the feds were keeping a close eye on his social media accounts and traveling plans, and were in fact likely waiting for him at the location where his car was eventually stopped. A revelation which would come from the cross-examination from an FBI officer who participated in the traffic stop, who would seemingly admit that they knew Brazy was heading from Montgomery to Alabama, which makes the claim that they simply saw a violation and made a random traffic stop seem pretty questionable. Fisher would also absurdly claim that it didn't matter that the 2 other men were hired as security because they were all barred from having guns, with this explanation sidestepping the important question of whether or not Brazy actually knew that the people running his security weren't allowed to have guns. Arguably, if it could be proven that Brazy genuinely was not aware that his hired security had been negligent and not told him they were barred from carrying weapons, he personally may have a defense, but that's going to be hard to prove, especially without telling. Meanwhile, with all of this going on, HoneyKomb Brazy's mother would share her heartbreak on social media, pointing out the incredible fact that Brazy hadn't even been out for a month before this whole ordeal went down and he got hauled back to jail. Ultimately, today, HoneyKomb Brazy is still sat in jail, awaiting a resolution on these charges. It's an unfortunate story that seems to happen too often nowadays in the modern gangster rap world, world. Rappers who are so street, they really need to protect themselves, but those efforts to protect themselves often end up attracting the attention of law enforcement that winds them back in trouble in the first place. Over the course of this story, it seems that HoneyKomb Brazy has been one of the most unlucky rappers to have ever lived. His life has been marred by violence, heartbreak, and loss on a scale that I've never witnessed in a rap story ever before. I've seen countless rappers lose friends and loved ones to the streets, but never their grandparents. And perhaps it says something about how crazy and stubborn Brazy was in the streets to attract such viciousness from his rivals, or perhaps it says more about just how dark and treacherous the streets of Mobile, Alabama can really be. Arguably, the shadow of racism, inequality, and systemic underinvestment in the city's black community led to those people within these communities suffering disproportionately. Perhaps had HoneyKomb Brazy not grown up in Happy Hill, his life might have worked out completely differently, but at the same time, that pressure ultimately makes diamonds. And in spite of going through some of the most painful losses you could possibly imagine, Brazy has still managed to come out the other side, not just living, but thriving as one of the state's most buzzing rap prospects. And if ultimately he's allowed to enjoy his freedom just one more time, I'm certain that Brazy will have an opportunity to go down as one of the greatest artists in the gangster rap genre. I truly hope that he gets that opportunity at freedom, and if he ever does touch the streets again, I pray that this time he can stay safe and put his wholehearted focus on the one thing that will save him from the treacherous streets of Mobile, his talent for music and telling his story, because it's got to be by far one of the craziest stories the rap game has ever heard. I enjoyed learning about him, and I'll be rooting for him when he gets out, and I hope that you'll be doing the same. But until then, I've been Traplaw Ross. Thanks so much for watching. Peace out.